Okay, so I have work in like 40 minutes, but I kind of want to just bang this one out. I just want to just wanted to come on and talk about how, you know, the things we do, they don't have to be super great or spectacular, but as long as they're honest, it doesn't have to be great, just as long as it's honest, you know what I mean? And this applies to all sorts of things in life. And lately, I've been attaching it more towards maybe my kind of interaction with the world in a sense. Uh, the way I decide to handle my maybe schoolwork, the way I decide to handle my practice, and the way I decide to handle my relationships with everyone I know in my life. Um, I'd say currently I am in a bit of a funk where, obviously I'm not always going to feel the greatest 24/7. I'm not always going to be able to come on and talk about how great I'm doing all the time and, how introspective I'm feeling, because sometimes I just don't feel like that. But I think as long as I put some honesty into it, I think that's enough for me. Like I said, it doesn't have to be something great, it just has to be honest. And, for example, I woke up today, I wasn't feeling good at all. I felt, ugh, I felt gross. I still feel kind of nasty, but I didn't go to school, and frankly, I had a test today, and I feel kind of bad about missing it. But I mean, I'm here now, and I'm in this situation now, so I might as well do what I can with the present moment rather than harking on what I could have done earlier in the day when I was asleep. And I'm about to go to work, and I still kind of feel all kind of nasty, but I think as long as I go in there and I do my best and I try to look at it as best as I can, I think I'll be okay for the rest of the day. And honestly, I think, again, this applies to so many different things in your life. I mean, I feel as if you can relate it to any sort of practice of any kind as well. I really like to bring in my my dance into these videos as an example and as a concept towards what I'm talking about. But it honestly falls down to any kind of practice. Just there will be so many days where something you're pursuing so relentlessly, where it's gonna feel like it's almost pointless. It's gonna feel like you're not good at it or you're not getting any better. But I think as long as you vest some sort of honesty into it, some sort of intention where it's like, okay, well, I don't feel good doing this right now. I don't feel good about it right now. I feel terrible. It feels like I suck. It feels like I'm going nowhere. But you know what? I'm going to try my best. I'm going to keep doing the most I can until honestly I just kind of lay down and can't go on anymore and I have to rest up for the next day. And I think that's the best way to go about practicing something or doing something over again when you just don't feel like it. And of course, there are times where you're going to need a break, but I think those breaks shouldn't be used to just be sitting around and not doing anything. I think they should be used for reflection and what you can do better for the next time you go ahead and practice, or the next time you go ahead and do whatever you were doing. There's, again, that putting honesty into it and being aware of maybe when you could have done better too. Again, the honesty, like, what you're doing doesn't have to be amazing, but as long as you're truly vesting yourself into it, Like when this is actually my first. I think this is my first closing shift alone at work today, and honestly, I'm kind of nervous. I mean, the closing process is very easy, but I've had one of my managers help me out for the past couple of closing shifts I've had, which is kind of every shift, I think, except for one. I had a morning shift, but I've had my manager help me for everyone, and I'm sort of nervous about going in and doing that by myself, because I don't want to mess anything up, I don't want to be responsible for having other people do more work in the morning after the close. But I'm just gonna go in there, do the best I can with what I've learned so far, and I hope that it's good enough. It's good enough for what I intend to complete, and that is to successfully close. But yeah, I think this can also apply to, like I said, it can apply to relationships and stuff, that's, and not as in like romantic relationships or anything, but like friendships, family, romantic relationships, all those kinds of things. I think it's important that we're always honest about how we're feeling in the moment, and it's much easier said than done. But I think as long as, you could be having a bad day and someone else is, it's kind of rubbing off on somebody else you're hanging out with right now, and they don't really know why, and they're asking you what's wrong, and you're not in a great mood. But I think as long as they're just honest, like, hey, like, I'm not feeling good today, like, I feel like shit, it doesn't really have anything to do with you, and if it does have something to do with them, then, I mean, I guess let them know, tell them, you did this, and it made me feel this way, and, I wish you didn't do that, and I hope you can change that, blah, 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 just that kind of stuff, just being honest, and you don't have to be the most happy-go-lucky, most introspective, most funny person in the moment. You can be just you can just feel the emotions, you can just feel the moment. Oh, my camera's so weird, it looks like that stuff there is just like moving. Anyway, just being honest in as much as you possibly can, just being there no matter how you feel or anything, kind of like with this video, I've been wanting to make another video for a while. I built a new computer, and I was setting up a new video, and I was editing it, and then I forgot that because I install a new operating system, everything kind of gets deleted, so I lost it. But it's okay, because I still got my phone, and I can still record and talk to it, so we're chilling on that part. But I've been thinking a lot lately about how sometimes I'm in a bad mood around people, and how sometimes I really just don't feel like talking to my friends or talking to my family or anything like that, relationship wise. Sometimes I am simply not up to the task, and I'm somebody who a lot of the time is in a good mood, and I'm willing to help other people out with whatever they're feeling when they're not in a good mood, and I'll really stick my neck out for people and kind of not expect anything back and not kind of want anything back. But there are times where I am really just not in it like I usually am, and it, like I said, like I gave it that example, it puts other people off that I'm put off, and it's not a great feeling for me to cause other people to kind of be down or confused or concerned about me because I am down and confused. But and at the end of the day, I wouldn't want to sabotage my own feelings for the sake of just not for the sake of just seeming like I'm okay, and for the sake of, pleasing other people, which is a very easy trap to fall into, I feel. But again, I don't have to be the greatest person that I can be in the moment every single moment. Of course, it's very important that you try, and it's very important that, again, you're honest with it. Today I'm not feeling the greatest. This is not one of my best days, that's for sure. But I'm doing what I can with what I got today. I woke up. I woke up only a little bit ago. Slept in super long. I stayed up pretty late last night, just journaling and writing and kind of thinking. And I honestly I procrastinated all kinds of things that I needed to do. And obviously it didn't feel too good to look back on it and be like, man, I had all this time to do this or that. But I think it's important that I was straight up with myself. I was, journaling about all kinds of things I was thinking about during the night, and I mean, it went for a very long time. Time passed. I was not keeping track of the time. It ended up getting really late, and then I woke up in the morning and I did not feel good. You might be able to hear on my voice. I don't know. I didn't feel good. I told my mom, I'm like, hey, just call me in sick. There's all sorts of things that I could have really beat myself down on about. But I think as long as I'm upfront about how I performed and what I did that day, what I'm doing today, how I'm gonna perform today, I think that is enough. If you are truly honest, not everything that you do day to day has to be the greatest thing anybody's ever seen, or maybe you have ever seen, because simply put, that's just not how people operate. We're not robots. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Maybe we will be someday, but for the time being, we're not. And I think it's important we stick to that, and we realize that not every single day is going to be a good day. So, doesn't have to be great. It just has to be honest, and no matter what you do. So, I think I've been recording long enough. I'm gonna start heading to work, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.